Oh, how's the weather today, Shannon?
Yeah, nice and sunny today.
Oh, that's good.
Cooled everything down. It's lovely. What's it like down there?
Coolish, actually. Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm back in my winter clothes again. Is the family up there with you, or whereabouts are they?
Yeah, they're here. I just live half an hour south at Grasstree Beach on the
Oh,
beach
okay.
there.
Nice. Is
Mm.
is it a beach or is it just a beach by name?
Oh no, it's a beach. Beautiful
Yeah.
little beach, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was up in Cairns, kind of Cairns, last week, and I was at Palm Cove, which is really nice. But the thing is, it's on the beach, but you can't swim because of the alligator or the crocodiles and the stingers. So it's kind of a Clayton's Beach kind of thing.
Yeah, you just wade in the shallows. You don't swim out far.
No, no, if you like value your life, that is. Uh, no, very nice area. Snorkeling was good. Mark always looks very intense and focused. It's like, man's, doing something very serious, taking over the world. Looks like a bit of a 007. Oh, there you go. Posting on Insta photos of you with your shirt off, I'm sure. Just kidding. Uh, I actually, I once taught a fiery and actually said yes, he was. I'm like, okay, there you go. Different. Fireys are fun. Fun with fireys. Uh, one of the funnier ones I saw. Like the same fiery that said yes actually put up the same photo as his Zoom backgrounds. And we were looking at the entire time. So it was interesting. It was fun times. And I guess the Christmas calendar's coming out soon. All fun. All right, fantastic, folks. If you're back, ready to go, ready to rock and roll, ready to have your mind expanded, drop a P in the chat and let me know that you're present, ready to go. That'd be great if you could do that. Awesome. Now, over the last 5 or 10 minutes, thank you. Over the last 5 minutes, I sent you through an email, and that email had two documents. The subject line was Learning Plan 2 Docs, Learning Plan 2 Docs. So if you got that email, if you drop a got it into the chat, that would be great. So I speak Japanese now. Drop a got it in the chat if you got the email that I sent through. If you haven't got it, I will resend it. That would be great. Mark is all over it. So funny because in Japan, you actually will often refer to yourself in the third person. So when I say Mark's all over it, it's like, I'm not referring to myself, folks. I'm referring to the other Mark there. So on that note, the document we're going to open up is Learning Plan 2 Template. Learning Plan 2 Template. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it up on my screen. You can bring it up on your screen, and we'll all screen for the great screen. So once you've got it open, folks, go ahead and drop an O in the chat. Let me know that you've got it open, and we'll jump into it. Thanks, Shannon. All right, cool. So in the chat there, could you drop in, excuse me, are you doing a Cert 3 or a Cert 2? Now you do that by putting a 2 or a 3 in the chat. If you drop a 2 or a 3 in the chat there, that'd be great. Awesome. So I'm going to teach you something that you can forget. But essentially, in the world of the vet sector, we have something called volume of learning. Volume of learning. Everyone, can you drop a VOL in the chat there for volume of learning? Volume of learning, right? So I'm going to teach you something that you can easily forget. So we have something called volume of learning. I'm just going to bring up this link to show you something. Now, volume of learning, if we check out this web page that's on ASQA's website, all I did to find this was I went to Google and I typed in volume of learning, enter, and clicked on the first link there, if you're wondering. So basically, it tells us how long a qualification should go for based on the AQF level. All right. So if we look at this chart here, we got the Cert 2 should go for 6 months to a year. Cert 3 should go from 1 year to 2 years. Just drop a yes in the chat if you're following along and you can see what I mean there. Cert 4, yep, happy days. We've got lots of yeses going on. I'm going to get fancy. I'm going to annotate because I feel like annotating. So this is what we're looking at here, folks. So yesterday when we looked at our Cert 4, I didn't tell you, but the reason we did it over the 12 months was that it was appropriate for that cohort, but also it fitted in with the band there, right? So I'm just going to close that. I'll do that. And for anyone that wants to look this up and have some fun with the volume of learning, I'm going to drop that in there. And if you can click on that one day in the future if you want to look further into this, right? And then if we look down, we got diploma level and we got diploma, advanced diploma, graduate, and graduate diploma. So that, folks, is the volume of learning. Now, I share that because when we create our templates today in our programs, you may want to abide by the length of the program there, right? So if you're doing a Cert 2, highly likely you want to make it a year. Highly likely, right? Cert 3, you may want to make it from 1 to 2 years, up to you. Just drop a yes in the chat if this has landed for you and you've understood what I've just said there. Yep, beautiful. Happy days, right? So awesome. So there is madness to the methods, right? So we're going to come back here, right? So name of RTO. On this document here, we're going to work through it. We're going to work through it as a group. No one gets left behind. And that's all good. And if at any point you need more time, just drop a T in the chat. At any point, if you need a question, drop a Q, right? And yeah, cool. Let's jump in. So name of RTO. In here, put in the name of your company, please, right? So if you work at IBM, just put in IBM, but you don't. So just drop in the name of your company. So if you work at Whitehaven, put in Whitehaven, right? Once you've done that, drop a D and that'll let me know that you've done that, right? If you work at QFES, put in QFES, right? Thanks, Scott. If you're not sure where you work, I can look it up on the files for you, but you should be okay. Awesome. All right. So, delivery period, as I said, you're either going to go the 12 months or the 18 months, or the 12 months or the 2 years kind of thing, right? So it's up to you, but pick whatever's appropriate for you, right? And as we go through this, I'm going to speak generic. I'm not going to speak just firefighter or just mining. So make sure that you tailor it to your needs, your situation. Hopefully that makes sense, right? And if anyone's watching the recording and following along at home, just, yeah, pick whatever's relevant for your industry, right? So just as a bit of a catch-up moment here, for anyone that does follow along at home, we are doing the Certificate 2 in Surface Extraction Operations if you're following along at home and you're that person there, right? So Cert 2 in Surface Extraction Operations, and to find that, you go to Google and type in Cert 2 in Surface Extraction Operations, training.gov.au, right? I'm just sharing that for someone that's going to be watching the recording later on. All right, so then we're going to come to the target cohort. If you're ready for target cohort, drop an R in the chat. Let me know that you're ready. Cool. So I'm seeing some all right. So target cohort, the learning program is aimed at. So we're going to go exist. So let me just fill this out first, and then I'll explain it all if that's okay with you. Existing or future workers who are currently working at name of company and who wish to achieve qualification name. This will help them be able to perform duties and tasks in the role of X. Okay. So I'll drop that in the chat and you can fix up my typos and you can make it relevant to your situation, your organization. Once you've done that, drop a D. All right. So hopefully you can not wokers. We don't want to be wokers. We want to be workers. Awesome. And as you do it, make sure you get out all the dashes and that stuff. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Mark. Alrighty, I'll say it again. I shouldn't. I probably don't need to, but as I go through this, don't be the student that puts both in. That would be weird. Pick the one that's relevant for you. Just drop a yes in the chat. That makes sense because sometimes see people that go, "I'm just going to add both in." It's like, no, just put the one in that's relevant to you, right? I'm just dropping both in so you can easily grab the one that's relevant to you. But I just need to say, because sometimes there's students that think they need to put both in, or do what's on Mark's screen. No, do what on Mark's screen relevant to who you are and what's going on for you. Awesome. And if anyone can't see it, needs me to zoom in, that's cool. Happy to do that as well there. But I imagine all of you have probably got training.gov.au still open, or if not, you've made a note of it on your magical worksheet there. Cool. All right. So once you got the code and title done, once you got the code and title of the qualification done, just drop in a D for done in the chat. Let me know that you've done the training package and the qualification. Thanks, team. All right. And Ryan, really want to acknowledge you for playing along and getting to this point there. And if there's anything you need me to clarify, just let me know, because I know that we covered some stuff yesterday that you may not be fully up to yet. So awesome. So we got code done, we got qualification done, and happy days. Mark's good, Ryan's good, Shannon's good, Simon's good, and I think everyone's good. But if anyone needs more time, just drop a text. I think you can imagine what we're about to do next. You are going to come to your checklist that you created just before, where you had the list of units, where you had your cores and your electives, and you copy and paste it over to that. And now we're just going to copy and paste over to this document. Just drop a yes in the chat if that makes sense as to what you're about to do there, folks. Drop in the cores, drop in the electives, any order at all, you're good to go there, right? Now, I just will say though, hypothetically, if you've got 9 units, well, get rid of the extra E's or whatever it is, make it look pretty, to the extent that you can. If you got 4 core, then get rid of the other C's, right? I've set this up just as a guide. I don't normally, like the regular template wouldn't have that at all, but I've just popped that in as a reminder so that you know, all right, cores and electives, happy days. So go ahead. I'll give you about 5 minutes to just copy and paste over as quick as you can your cores and your electives. Thanks, team. I'm here, but I'm just going to mute myself. If you got a question, drop a Q. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Shannon. Who thinks it was a great idea to create that separate document there? Who's loving that separate document? Shannon probably loves it. She's like, oh, that was a good idea. Simon loved it. Not my first rodeo, team. Not my first rodeo. Thanks, Mark. Awesome. All right, cool. Can you drop a GTG, good to go, in the chat if you're good to go? If you need more time, drop a T and let me know if you need more time. Awesome, thanks. Thanks, Ryan. All right, cool. So Mark is good to go. All right, so the course is made up of, I mean, you should be able to fill that out. So if it's made up of 9 units, it's made up of 9. If it's made up of 20, it's made up of 20. Fill that out. Then the program will be delivered over a period of X months, right? So if you have got, say, 9 units, you can do it over the 12 months and you can space out the units over that 12 months. Does that make sense? If you're doing it over 2 years, well, I think that's 24 months, if my math is correctly. So you could drop in 24 months. That's totally fine, right? Once you've done the unit total and the number of months, just drop a D in the chat and that'll let me know that you've done that. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Shannon. All right, so we'll come down. I think everyone's good on that. So we'll come down now and we'll check out this section here, right? Now, I'm just going to bring up the, let me bring up training.gov.au. You can imagine what we're about to do, but I'm just going to run you through a quick example. Okay. So yesterday we looked at, and Ryan, it'll be a no for you, but drop in the chat, everyone, if you remember us allocating whether it was leadership or customer service. We allocated leadership or customer service. Drop a yes in the chat if you remember. We basically allocated the units, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our qualification and we are going to come up with some names of program areas, right? Some names of program areas. And we're going to allocate those units, right? So coming to the firefighting, what we can do with the firefighting, I've often for firefighting, you guys may agree, disagree, hate me, I don't mind, but for firefighting, I've often gone, one program area has been safety and then the other one has been firefighting operations. All right, very generic, but no, no, it seems to work. Okay. So if you're comfortable with that one, drop a yes. If you want to change the name and it doesn't fit your program, then change the titles. I really don't care. Excuse my language there. I don't mind. And you can create 3 program areas if you want to. I don't mind. I'm not attached, right? With the mining side of things, yeah, Shannon, all over it. Gosh, I need to catch up with Shannon there. That works. And so Ryan, you may want to use the same there. So basically what we're doing, Ryan, is essentially what we do is we drop in a program area name, right? So let's go with safety. All right. Then what we do, is we pick so I'm just going to come to the list here that I've got. Okay, conduct local risk control. All right, so that kind of sounds like a safety one. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to drop that and do that, and then expected hours, I'm going 80, right? Now coming down here, Ryan, I'm going to go production, and then I'm going to pick one that relates to production, and probably looking at my magical list here, I'm going to go with, say, participate in safe work, sustainable practices there, right? I'm going to drop that in there, and then drop that code, drop there. Cool. And I'm going to go 80, right? So what we talked about yesterday, Ryan, was that a small unit, we're looking at 80 hours. A big unit, we're looking at 100 hours, right? So you can call your program areas anything that you want, but Shannon has kindly suggested for the mining side, safety, production, and communication, right? So she's going to have safety, production, and communication. And what Shannon's going to make sure that she does is, Shannon, up the top here, can you refresh my memory? How many units in total did you have, Shannon? Was it 9 or was it 20? Yeah, beautiful. So she's going to make sure that she copies and pastes all yeah, beautiful, all 9 units down here, right? So yesterday when you guys are sending your learning plan through to me, what I was doing is I was counting every time how many units, and then making sure that there was, and like it all matched up, right? If it was 1 unit short, well, then you guys failed, right? So it needed to match up throughout the entire document. Drop a yes in the chat if that makes sense. Yep, awesome. Thank you, team. All right. So for the firefighters, I think safety and operations is what we suggested there. Ryan, I'm just going to check in with you, drop your response in the chat there, and let me know, does it kind of make sense what we're doing here? We're creating some program areas and then putting the relevant units under the relevant headings. So I'm just going to do one more to give you another example here. Conduct local risk control. I'm going to come over to my document. That's probably, I've already done that one. Communication, I'll come down here and do a comms one. Comms. And at any point, Ryan, if you just want to jump in and say, yeah, I get it, it's all good. Communicate in the workplace. Just going to copy that one over. And cool. Yeah, cool. Thought you might say that. And then you got one more. I'm just going to give you one more example so that you know that we're covering all of the 9 units here. And firefighting people, feel free just to jump into it and just start working on it there. Cool. All right, cool. So I'm going to be quiet for about 5, maybe 7 minutes there for you to just copy and paste over the relevant units into the program areas. Thanks, team. And I'll just say one last time, whatever is up here needs to come down here. So if you got 9 up there, you need 9 down here. If you got 10 up there, you need 10 down here. A bit of a tight race there. Shannon and Ryan, like neck and neck. Where are my fireys at? Scott's done. Awesome. All right, folks. I think everyone's good. If you're ready for the next section, drop an R in the chat. Let me know that you're ready for the next section. Cool. Delivery modes. Drop it in there. Name of your company. And then where it says field trips to local businesses, that's kind of weird. So take that one out. Delete that. Delete that. And then learning support materials. I'm going to drop some things in here and then I'll drop them in the chat there for you. When you're done on that, drop a D. Thanks. Thanks, Mark. Gotta get it. Bit of self-affirmation going on. Good job, Mark. All right. So we'll come down and we'll check out the next section here. The spacing and the formatting makes it look bigger than it is. So if you want to change the formatting, you certainly can do that. All right, so program area, similar to what we did yesterday, if not exactly the same, we're going to decide how we're going to assess each item, right? So we may have, I'm just going to go fireys for a second, operations, right? So in the different program areas, we're going to decide how we're going to assess each of the areas, right? So safety, I might do that via a written test and maybe simulation and maybe work observation, right? Operations, I may go with oral questioning, written test, simulation, and work observation, right? So go ahead, whatever your program areas are, drop them in there, then decide how you're going to assess each one there, right? And once you've done that, drop a D. All right, next section, delivery and assessment staff. You pop in the program areas. So with the mining people, I think it was communication, safety, and can't remember the other one there, but I think you guys are pretty much all over it. Safety, production, and communication. So you'd put in safety, production, communication, and then you allocate yourself as the trainer, and leave the X's there. So if it is Ryan and Shannon, make sure you add your name there and then add some extra X's if you need to there. So delivery and assessment, X, technical X, assess X, right? Once you've done that, drop a D. Awesome. So for the next piece, we're doing a bit of a word hunt. Now, if you're an expert on Word, you can do it the way that you probably imagine. Excuse me. But wherever you see spec training, you are going to change spec training to the name of your company. So if you work at IBM, spec training becomes IBM. Drop a yes in the chat if that makes sense. So anywhere you can find spec training, you change it to QFES or to IBM if you work at IBM, but you don't. So don't put that. Spec training, you got spec training here. And I think there's one there and there's one there as well. So any place you see spec training, just change it to the name of your company. Thank you, team. I don't know why it's mentioned Skype. I haven't used Skype for years. It's like the fax machine. Could you call me on Skype? Now, hypothetically, if you miss a spec training, that's cool. It's not going to be a fail kind of thing. It's all good. We just want to clean up as many as we can. And if you're A superstar on Word, you probably already gone, oh, I could use that replace with function. And you probably already jumped on that, but we're not going to go into that. So we don't want to confuse ourselves. When you're ready for the hazards and risks, you can go ahead and drop in the hazards and risks. These are just some random ones I've thought of. If you want to use your own or different, go for it. I am not attached, but these are just some examples there. And if you don't have the hazard of smoke inhalation, well, don't put it. It's up to you. I'm just throwing examples out there. Once you're finished on the risks, just drop a D. Thanks, Simon. Brian. For anyone that's ready for it, in the next section, LLN, there's a couple of moments where it's mentioned spec training. So just change that to the name of your own company there. Awesome. Thanks, Scott. All right. So at this juncture, we are going to take a 10-minute break just to refresh our brains and our bodies. Head to the restroom if we need to, get some tea, get some coffee before we head into the next segment there, right? So on that note, by my clock, it's 10:15 or close enough too. We're going to come back at 10:25 and then we'll jump into the next part of this document here, right? So come back at 10:25 and we'll jump into the next part. Thanks, team. See you very shortly back at 10:25 there. 10:25. Thanks, team. Scott, do you do Monday to Friday, or are you on call? What's kind of your world?
A bit of both. So Monday to Friday, and I'm on call this week for
Okay.
larger incidents.
Okay. Has it been pretty quiet recently, or you had lots of incidents?
Hit and miss,
Uh,
really. The guys on the trucks, obviously, Mark and Simon, probably doing a lot more than I am at the moment.
hmm.
But it's not too bad at the moment. There's a few house fires popping up here and there, but yeah,
Okay.
it's not too bad.
People leaving things on the stove.
Batteries, lithium batteries. That's the number one
Serious.
winner.
Wow. Wow. You would think with the number of incidents they would have created I don't know, fail safe or something by now, but seems they don't stop.
No, not yet.
Wow. They don't even seem to put any like extra instructions on them. Or well, anyway, there you go.
Wrap them all up in packages. It'll be fine.
Ah,
Keeps us employed.
ah. Alrighty, folks. So if you're back, present, ready to go, ready to rock and roll, drop a P, as you know to do there, folks. Drop a P. Awesome. Thank you so much, team. And so let's jump back into the document. And I love that comment. Keeps us employed. All right, cool. So we'll come down here and similar to what we did yesterday, if not exactly the same, we're going to go through and we're going to create a schedule for our workshops, right? So hypothetically, though, if you're doing it over 2 years, then the dates would reflect over 2 years. Hopefully that makes sense there, right? Now, I've done the first one there for you, just to illustrate there for Ryan. But I popped in a date there, 18th of October. You can pick any date at all. And then workshop one, I've just, the order of what you teach and when you teach it doesn't matter. But I've just popped in the first unit and I've got communicate in the workplace. And then workshop title is empowering communication, right? So I've just made that up. And the reason for that, Ryan, is that we're just creating a title that would make the session a little bit more interesting. Now, if we're saying the workshop's going to be 1 day, then we pop in 8 hours here. If it's going to be 2 days, then we put in 16 hours. And over on this side here, we're going to drop in another date of 18th of October, 2024. But it doesn't really matter, if it's an 8 hour or a 16 hour workshop there, 1 day or 2 days there, right? So what you would do is you move on to the second workshop there, pick a date, drop in the name of the unit, and then give it a fancy title. Ryan, is that kind of making sense? Just drop a yes in the chat if it's making sense. If you got a question, drop a Q, and you should just let me know. But basically, I've so in your case, Ryan and Shannon, I believe you'll probably have 9 workshops if you've got 9 units. Now, hypothetically, if you wanted to be getting super creative, you could certainly have more than 9 workshops. If you wanted to have a couple of workshops per unit, that's totally fine. You can go to the stratosphere with how you want to design it. But all I'm saying is 1 unit, 1 workshop is fine for the purpose of the task. Firefighting team, I believe you got 10 units or 11. Can't remember. So in your case, you'll have the 11 workshops or 10 workshops or whatever it may be there. Cool. If you're all good to go on this section here, drop a GTG and then I will be quiet and allow you some time to create your schedule and create your unit and give it a fancy title. Awesome. On that note, over to you, team. I'll be here, but I'm just going to mute myself so that you're not distracted by any noise. Thanks, team. And when you do get finished, just drop a D in the chat and I'll know that you're finished. Thanks, team. Thanks, Simon. Simon, in total, how many workshops did you have? Was it 11 or 10? Oh, 11. Yeah, awesome. Simon, when you're ready for it, just come down to the bottom there and where it's got your name, pop your name in. Endorsed by, put name of your boss. And then HR manager at, and then put the name of your company. Don't put Ocean World, that'd be weird. Awesome. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Shannon. If you are complete, come down and change these details down here. Your name is your name. Name of your boss. Make that up if you need to. Change Ocean World to the name of your company and then drop in the date. Once you've done those things as well, drop a double D and that'll tell me that you've done the schedule and those sections down there as well. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Shannon. Alrighty, when you're done on that document, you can go ahead and save it as Learning Plan 2, first name, last name. Once you've saved it, drop an S in the chat. That'll let me know that you've saved it. If you still need more time, absolutely just drop a T in the chat. That'll let me know that you need a little bit more time. It's all good. Once you've saved it, drop an S in the chat. That'll let me know that you've saved it. Yes, Scott. No, just leave that blank. Just leave that blank. Alrighty. So, next document we'll be opening up will be, thanks, Mark, stakeholder review template, stakeholder review template. In the email that I sent out earlier today, there was, ta-da, there was a stakeholder review template -2. So we're going to open that one up and we're going to fill that out together as a group. Just going to bring this over onto my other screen here and cool. So this is the next document we're going to play with. So once you've got this open, just drop an O in the chat. Let me know that you've got it open. Thanks, team. O plus S equals happy face by Trainer. All right. So name of reviewer. Just gonna do something for us here, folks. Just going to drop in people's first names and last names here. So your name and then pick someone else. All right. So you're going to have your name and then the name of somebody else from the crew that's in the group here that you're going to add in as a separate name there. Once you've done that, then you can add the date. Once you've done the date, just drop an R in the chat. That'll let me know that you're ready. Shannon, so quick. Awesome. All right, so number one, we're going to go with no, and then could be longer for some workshops to have more practice. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. Don't put it in, but just giving you some examples of the kind of things that you can put in. All right, once you've done up to number 6 there, just drop a 6 in the chat. That'll let me know that you've done up to number 6. Basically, we're just going yes, 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 and yes. Awesome. Thanks, team. You get done up to number 8, drop an 8. Thanks, team. Let me know once you get up to number 12 there. So we got 9, 10, 11, 12 should be showing. It should be good. And you got 11, 12, 13, 14. Once you dropped your name and your signature, and as we mentioned, your signature can be just that. Naturally, your details. Once you've done your name, signature, you can drop a D in the chat and let me know that you're done on this document, and you can save it. Save it, save it, save it. You can change the name to Stakeholder Review Template 2 or Stakeholder Review 2. That's fine. But as long as you save it as something, that's the important thing there. And once you have saved it, just drop an S in the chat. That'll let me know that you've done that. Awesome, folks. So on that note, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to come over to the Magical Moodle here, and we're going to upload our 2 documents. We're going to upload our 2 documents. And Ryan, I don't know if you come into here yet or not, but basically yesterday we looked at Learning Program Plan 1. We uploaded that, and many people did that, which is great. But today we're going to focus on Learning Program Plan 2. Okay, so I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to give people time to find their documents and upload them, right? So you come and you click on Learning Program Plan 2, you click on that, and then it's going to give you an option to be able to drag and drop and add submission into this section here. Now, I just will make a very small comment. Yesterday, there were some people that didn't click the extra button, and it was staying in draft. It wasn't actually submitted. I won't say who that was, of course. So just make sure when you are submitting that you add submission, and then there's another button. I think it says save or something like that. So make sure that you do both of those buttons there, so to speak, right? So by my clock, it's 10:53. I'm going to give you until about 11:05 to find your documents and upload them here, folks. Just to recap, just to remind you, there are 2 documents to upload. How many, folks? Drop in the chat. There are 2. How many? There's 2. How many? There's 2. 1 + 1 equals, drop in the chat, 2. Awesome. On that note, if you get stuck or not sure how to upload to Moodle, that's totally fine as well. And as we talked about yesterday, all you do is just email me the documents and I'll upload them for you, right? So don't worry. My hand is here to hold you. So all good. I'll see you back here at 11:05. Thanks, team. See you shortly. And don't forget, if you do upload it, send me an email saying I've uploaded it.